What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the channel, and we have some very exciting breaking news to announce as the Mets have officially signed top international outfield prospect in Simon Juan. So that's what we'll be breaking down in today's video. Everything that there's to know about Simon Juan's game. Why exactly did the Mets sign the 16-year-old? What us Mets fans could potentially expect from him in the years going forward? How does he shape up right now in the Mets prospect pool, especially in their outfield depth? And why us Mets fans should be awfully excited about what's to come with Simon Juan overall. So as always, folks, make sure you stay all the way till the end of the video. Follow the details and all my thoughts on Simon Juan's game, now signing with the New York Mets as a top outfield prospect. And again, folks, if you find yourself enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to see more great Mets content like this, don't hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe button, sharing this video with your friends, on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you all so much for the continued support, folks. Now let's jump right into today's video. All right, folks, so as many of you know by now, normally when a player internationally, especially as a young prospect in their teens, plans on signing with a club, a lot of times it can be leaked out, of course, that they're going to sign with that team at least a year prior to them officially being able to. Once their signing period is eligible, they have to be at least 16 to sign legally, at least. And if we look at this report here from Jacob Resnick, who does a great job covering Mets prospects for SNY, he came out with this report back at March of 2021 that the Mets are intending to sign Simon Juan this year, happening right now. So that's crazy. Already a year span, basically. The Mets are finally getting this done. It's a roughly $2 million deal for the top prospect. And yes, the Mets have signed multiple prospects internationally, even today, potentially during this signing period. But what stands about Simon Juan is the fact that he is a top international prospect. He is on another level than a lot of the other signings that we're seeing the Mets do currently, and will continue to do, of course, leading up until the season. And what's important about him is not just being a top international prospect, but he is really up there. When you look at him through Baseball America, he's ranked the 14th best prospect internationally right now. When you look at MLB.com, he's the 16th best prospect internationally. And outfield wise, he's the 7th best prospect internationally according to MLB.com. And yes, I'm also aware that just because a prospect is signed and isn't, say, ranked or a top prospect, by no means should you denounce them and say that, oh, they don't mean anything. Trust me, a lot of the biggest Mets signings internationally throughout the entire history of an organization have come from lower level prospect signings that weren't ranked originally. But again, Simon Juan really stands out for a lot of good reasons. And potentially the biggest standout about him at the age of 16, at 6'2", roughly 180 pounds, is the fact that he has the potential, according to reports, according to his scouting report, to be a 5-tool player. Someone that will be a plus player in numerous categories. As you see from his scouting grades here, he's in the 50 or the 55 area, a total of 55, whether it comes to, of course, hitting, glove, all these factors, speed, you name it, he's doing a great job there. And to be this highly ranked and to have this skill set, the athleticism, he shows that he's being viewed as not just an outfielder, but as a center fielder long-term in an MLB career. That's huge for a Mets team right now, that when you look at their outfield depth, it isn't all that great. Yes, they have Khalil Lee, who's basically ready for the MLB right now. You can make that argument to a certain extent with Nick Plummer, too, who they signed this offseason, originally from the Cardinals organization. The Mets' top outfield prospect, arguably right now, Alex Ramirez, who still has years away from hitting the bigs. But you bring in someone like Simon Juan now with this athleticism. By the time he's potentially ready for the MLB, which is at earliest 4 years, is probably a stretch. I think it'll probably take him at least 5 to 6, depending on how quick his development is. Again, I could be wrong, could be earlier, could be later. We'll find out. But Starling Marte will be off the team by then. Brendan Nimmo, if he is on the team, will be in the corner outfield. Surely that's what really profiles best for him. So there's going to be that open spot more than likely at the center field position for the Mets. And that's where Simon Juan can potentially come in as a long-term center field fit with high athleticism, high speed, strong arms, strong bat to ball skills, strong glove too. He really has it all to be potentially a big fan, maybe even a star. That's how good he is. That's why he's so coveted. And to sign him at roughly $2 million is a big deal. There are reasons why this happens. And I know not all prospects hit. I'm fully aware of that. But there's good reasons to be excited about Simon Juan. And even though that there aren't necessarily statistics out there for him right now, given his age, everything that we're seeing so far with his profile is definitely intriguing. And the biggest thing of all outside of the 5-tool aspect is the player compositions. It is, yes, George Springer, Byron Buxton. Byron Buxton especially, he's one of my favorite players in the league. He is, in my mind, one of the best outfielders in all baseball when he's healthy. George Springer especially is. We all know that very well by now. But to have yourself being compared to these two, to the best outfielders in the game right now when they're healthy, is nothing short of tremendous. And I know you might be wondering, you're getting comped to, yes, someone like Byron Buxton, George Springer. How does that even make sense for a guy at 16? Well, if you look at the scouting report specifically, I'll have it in the links to below, as always, folks, if you want to check it out. It's the fact that he profiles really awfully similar, almost exactly the same as both these two stars in the MLB at the same age of 16 respectively. So at this point in their careers are all profiling awfully similar, which tells you that yes, it's going to be up to Simon Juan to develop properly and potentially be a star in the league. But knowing that he is on the same pace right now as those two studs who are awfully athletic, two of the most athletic outfielders in the game of baseball today, that's a huge deal. But to be frank, as soon as I saw the comp, not just a George Springer, but Byron Buxton, because I am a Byron Buxton lifer, I'm going to take it in my grave. I don't care. I absolutely love that man. Yeah, that got me really pumped. That got me really excited because of how high flying he is. Same thing with George Springer, how not just great defensively they are, but just how balanced they are offensively too. They are two big bats that are tremendous for their respective clubs. And Simon Juan, knowing that he profiles at this point in time, at his age, as long as he develops right, this could be the next stud in Queens for a long period of time to potentially be the Mets' long-time outfielder. Center field, this is something that the Mets haven't had a consistent center fielder where they actually developed them properly, that weren't just good defensively, but really good offensively, and we really have that balance. The Mets haven't had that in a very long time. WardyNYM has been up and down with his defense early in his career. Thankfully, this past season, he did really far above average, 86th percentile OAA in 2021 in the center field position, but he makes more sense in the corner given his injuries that he's dealing with. You know, Juan Lagares, looking back, another international prospect that the Mets signed in the past, really good defensively, but unfortunately didn't have the consistent offense power that would make sure that he would stay long-term with the Mets. Simon Juan feels like that anomaly. That's why we should be excited, and boy, oh boy, am I intrigued to see what he's going to bring the Mets once he starts to build up in this farm as potentially one of their best outfield prospects already, if not their best already in the system. Again, I'd say he's close to, if not already, a top 10 prospect for the Mets. That's how good he is, and again, awfully excited to see what he's going to bring. So Mets fans, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about the Mets signing Simon Juan to a roughly $2 million deal for, yes, a 16-year-old? I want to know all your thoughts in the comments below as always. And again, folks, if you found yourself enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to see more great Mets content like this, don't hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe on, sharing this video with your friends, on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you all so much for the continued support, folks. Expect more great content here on WardyNYM real soon. I'll talk to you later. Let's go Mets, baby.